What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm once again joined by Tyler. In this video, we want to discuss if Yozora is actually AVA. So we've talked a little bit about Kingdom Hearts, We've talked many videos about Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind, the DLC. We've actually talked about Yozora and his, the game within a game, right? We've talked a lot about that in past videos. We've had a couple Yozora theories, in general, him being alternate universe Riku, all that kind of stuff. So we've had videos in the past. In this video, we want to connect it again to a kind of a fabled character. I think the popularity of AVA definitely started growing back with Kingdom Hearts 3. There's definitely a mystery surrounding this person, which I guess you could say surrounding this female, but that's not, confirmed. So we can talk a little bit about that in this video. This is, of course, keeping up our coverage on this game. We've talked a lot about Dark Road as well, and over the next couple weeks, we're going to be continuing that as we get more information. So if you guys are new here, welcome. Make sure you guys are subscribed and have that bell icon rung because we do videos like this all the time. This week, we're going to be continuing our coverage, and then, as I said, in a few weeks, once we get more information on the mobile game, the mobile Xehanort game, we will be covering that as well. So, Tyler, why do you think it's at least, and we could at least talk about the possibility, people could get mad at this kind of stuff. They're just our opinions, they're just our thoughts, and this one definitely is more a question, right? Like, if this is a potential thing that could be possible.
So again, this is just literally a theory. I was, the thought kind of came in my mind. I was watching the epilogue, the Kingdom Hearts 3 epilogue. I was watching the Nameless Star stuff, and obviously we were looking into it for the content that we've covered already. And, I started to get this feeling, and I'm like, you know what? Could it be, and I'm not necessarily saying that I'm committed to this, because I'm not, but it is Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, could it be that Yozora may be Ava somehow? And then the more I, read certain things that they're saying, it's totally possible. Now, yes, this is a wild theory, but let me explain myself for a second. So, let's look at what the Nameless Star says to Sora in the final world. So, she's like that they know. He asks who she is or what her name is, and she says no one's anymore. They took away my name, everything about me. He asks if someone's coming for her, and she said someone is obviously, but he's been changed beyond recognition. His heart replaced with another's. So we know obviously that whoever it is, and again I believe this Nameless Star is her name. I believe is Sora. I believe it's the girl from the Verum Rex trailer that was in the Toy Story world. So I do believe that is Yozora's girl. But we also know, obviously, here she says he's been changed beyond recognition, his heart replaced with another's. Now, and then I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but we also know, just from Yozora himself in ReMind, that he says to Sora, basically like, yeah, it's me, but this isn't what I really look like. So again, his heart's been changed with another's, and then he says, but this isn't what I really look like. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But we could take it even further. She says, but were he to regain his old self again, he would be distressed by my absence. In other words, if he were to return to being himself, he would be kind of worried, and he'd basically come looking for her. And what do we know? We know that Yozora, and all I can do is say Yozora, because it's all we can call him right now, is Yozora accidentally wandered into the final world, and the rest. Obviously, he fights Sora and yada, yada, yada. He was told to save Sora and all of that good stuff. But nonetheless, he wandered into that world. Makes me wonder, was he trying to find her? Does that mean that he's already returned to or regained his self again? Well, but he can't, he couldn't have regained himself because he's saying that this isn't really what I look like. So it's kind of, this is why it's like an interesting theory. It's a little bit confusing in a way, but the fact that Yozora and this Nameless Star are both basically saying that, yes, it's this character, Yozora, but, he says this is what I really look like. She says that he's been changed beyond recognition, his heart replaced with another. That obviously means that the shell, the body Yozora that we see, isn't actually Yozora still. It's somebody else. So, we have two different characters saying that. And what's interesting is that we can confirm that Yozora is the person that is supposed to be coming to save that nameless star, because Sora says, but wait, that girl, she told me about you. So he recognizes, because I believe that she whispers into Sora's ear the name, and she probably says Yozora. So, Sora's able to put two and two together and say, well, wait, that girl, she told me about you, so you're obviously Yozora. But then he kind of follows it up again with saying, but this isn't, it is me, but this isn't really what I look like. So, I don't know. Does that mean that the person who's currently, the heart that's currently residing in Yozora, could it possibly be AVA? Now, why would I say AVA? Well, again, this is Kingdom Hearts. We know that Xigbar, the body of Bragg, Xigbar, it isn't actually Lushu's body. We know that, and this is in those secret reports, we know that over the years, Lushu was constantly changing bodies, so why wouldn't Ava be able to do the same? She was a foreteller, no different than Lushu was. And now I want to actually mention briefly the epilogue, the Kingdom Hearts 3 epilogue. Lushu says, I guess Ava didn't make it after all. I told her clear as day what it is I had to do. And then one of the foretellers kind of questions, what does that even mean or whatever. And Lushu says that Ava had her own mission and she carried it out. So I wonder, because Ava didn't show up. Now, and there's all these different theories that Ava's this person, Ava's Luxord, and this and that. I'm not going to commit to any of them just because it is Kingdom Hearts. Anything could change. But what I think would be interesting, and hear me out on this one, what I think would be interesting is if we have this character Ava that they keep mentioning, but they don't ever really tell us where she is or who she is or whatever, what she looks like now maybe or whatever, but they keep talking about her, and obviously she's a female. But wouldn't it be interesting if they disguised her as a male? I think it would, because that totally throws us all off. We see Yozora looks a lot like Riku, looks a lot like Noctis. We're all thinking he's a guy. None of us are actually thinking like, hey, you know what? It's actually a girl inside of him. That's actually Ava's heart. Because again, what do we know? He's been changed beyond recognition. This isn't what I really look like. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Other people have said, in the combat, how is he able to literally take your Keyblade, replicate your Keyblade, and almost use it, or not even almost, he does, use your Keyblade against you? Maybe they kind of did that on purpose. That's very possible. If they did it on purpose, why would Yozora be able to hold or handle a Keyblade and kind of wield a Keyblade? Maybe because it's Ava, not really Yozora or Noctis or alternate universe Riku, like I think, or whatever. Maybe it's because it's Ava who is a Keyblade wielder. Maybe that's why. And is there a precedent that's already been set? Yeah, Sora. Why could Sora wield the Keyblade? He was never meant for the Keyblade. It was always Riku, right? But why was Sora able to wield the Keyblade? Because Ven was in his heart. Ven was already a Keyblade wielder. So again, could it be that the reason Yozora in the combat is able to wield a Keyblade is because he's actually Yozora? That's possible. And again, that's assuming that the combat actually means something. I don't know if it does. I kind of feel like it may. Because that is a pretty, that part when you're fighting him, it lasts a little while. I mean, he literally takes your Keyblade, duplicates it, and your Keyblade is just attacking you from every angle, duplicates it and everything. So they definitely wanted you to realize, like, Yozora took your Keyblade and he's using it against you. So I do think that there may be something there why they did that, because they could have just did something else. They could have just made it a crossbow move. Instead, they decided to say, hey, you know what? He can take your Keyblade and use it. It's not going to disappear and just go right back to you, which we know can happen because that's a scene that we've seen. I just can't remember which game, but that is a scene where someone picks it up, someone reaches their hand out, and the Keyblade just goes right back to him. That doesn't happen here. So maybe it's because maybe Yozora is Ava. I obviously don't know. Again, I'm not committed to it, but it is an interesting theory, and we talk about before, obviously, in other videos, but we've talked about before how they're obviously going to be using these foretellers. They're going to be using the Master of Masters. They have to do with the Age of Fairy Tales. They're going to be bringing them now into kind of, I call it present day for like Kingdom Hearts 4. They're going to be using other characters to do that process of bringing them in to kind of educate the console players that don't play the mobile game, who they are, why they're relevant, what's the motive now. If you're bringing them all in, and you see that in the epilogue, you bring them all in, but you didn't bring in Ava, but you keep bringing up Ava, and now you bring in this new character in this new world, and we have a video, and others believe as well, Luxord may be Yozora's driver when he wakes up, and then in the Kingdom Hearts 3, Xemnas is basically telling us and them, hey, the reason that you, Marluxia, Larxene, Luxord, and Demyx, the reason you're here is because of your connections to the Keyblade legacy, the ancient Keyblade legacy. So, hey, there's all these different connections. Like, is that why Luxord, if it is Luxord, which we think it is, check out that video, if that is Luxord being Yozora's driver, is that why? Did Ava make an alliance with Luxord all those years ago? And they've stayed in touch all these years. And now, yeah, it is Ava inside Yozora's body, and that's why they're still together. Could be. So I don't know. Again, this is just a theory.
So guys, let us know in the comments below what you think of this theory. Make sure, again, you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. We're going to continue our Kingdom Hearts coverage. We have a couple more things we definitely want to talk about. And again, as Dark Road comes out and as we get more information on it, we will continue to cover that as well. So thank you guys so much. You guys have been truly, truly awesome over these last couple weeks and even couple years if you were people that joined before Kingdom Hearts 3. We greatly, greatly appreciate you guys, and we hope to see you on the next video.